I knocked on the door. I rang the bell. He saw me. He refused to open his door. So I have no other option than to leave the document on his door.
I speak. That is untrue. I wasn't even here when nobody was at the residence, and the video shows clearly that he hadn't talked to anybody. And the exact same time he said that he talked to me, he gave my hair color. He said I spoke. That's what he said in his complaint, which is untrue.
On January 30th, 2025, Carrie Carroll filed a complaint against Sheriff Nezame, alleging that the respondent filed a false return of service by claiming to have served the complainant at his home when video showed the respondent rolling up the documents and placing them in the door jamb without speaking to anyone. The respondent confirmed he was the individual in the video and left the documents because the complainant refused to open the door and was avoiding service. And both parties are here.
We did find violations of Code of Ethics 2B through D, and we're recommending a permanent revocation of the process server's certification effective the date of the final order and a penalty of $500 total due within 6 months after the date of the final order for violations Code of Ethics 2B through D.
Thank you very much. May we have the participants in this case come online with us?
Yeah, hello.
Mr. Nasime?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Thank you very much. And do we have our complainant?
Yeah, according to what she read, that was what happened. Because I believe the complainant was avoiding service. I knocked on the door. I rang the bell. He saw me. He refused to open his door. So I have no other option than to leave the document on his door.
I speak. That is untrue. I wasn't even here when nobody was at the residence, and the video shows clearly that he hadn't talked to anybody. And the exact same time he said that he talked to me, he gave my hair color. He said I spoke. That's what he said in his complaint, which is untrue, and it was false. If you read his complaint, he said he spoke and asked my name, and he said I had black hair and I spoke with accent. So he can't say that. I wasn't even home. I wasn't even there. Nobody was home. He's lying to be it's not true. And not only that, I have real grave concern that he could do this to somebody and might not even leave the papers. And I think it's when you just falsify a document like that, I think it should be a lot more than $500. In fact, he needs jail time.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any discussion from anybody on the board?
I don't know if we have, my apologies for not reviewing all 23 pages to see if it's in there. And it may not be completely pertinent, but was the document being delivered an original citation and petition, or was it an order for substitute service for a citation and petition?
It was original.
It was a citation and petition. There was no order for substitute service.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And furthermore, if there had been an order for substitute service, it wasn't noticed or listed, and there was no indication that it was served by alternative means.
Agreed.
And I have additional thoughts on it, but I'd turn to anybody else before I make mine. Ms. Watson, you're still on mute, ma'am.
I'm determined to be muted today. I've reviewed it, and I just see it as bad service. It is inappropriately served. There was certainly no order. You don't leave a document at the door without being able to see the person, identify the person. Someone, and there was a statement about looking through the window. Well, that's just not good enough. So that's my opinion about this. I tend to agree with the staff recommendation.
Thank you. And I actually agree with the staff recommendation, but I'd also personally feel, and wanted to speak to the staff about it, that the answer that was, or the response that was given, where it is stated, I want to sincerely clarify that I personally served the documents to the complaint at his home on the stated date. As a process server, I take my responsibilities seriously and adhere to all legal and ethical obligations in executing service of process. I accurately took the necessary photos of the subject address and documented the service as detailed in the affidavit of service, which I duly signed under penalty of perjury. That is concerning to me, in addition to the evidence that we have before us, where it is clearly shown that personal service didn't take place, that the respondent would respond and reaffirm that he did the service in a way that is clearly evidence that he didn't. And so I will actually make a motion that we add a second penalty for violations and assess an additional $500. And with that, I'd make that motion that we move to accept the staff recommendation, but also add an additional $500 penalty for what I believe is a, excuse me, an additional violation of those code of ethics with his answer. And I wanted to see how the staff feels about that. Excuse me.
I think D is the one that talks about perjury, and that's included as a violation. So it's B, C, and D. If you all want to increase the penalty to $1,000, we can do that just by dividing it by 3.
Yeah, because generally each
$500.
violation, I'm sorry, each violation is technically on the matrix 500 each, generally C, D, and E, or B, C, and D. But
But
we
if
only
we-
got 500 here, so yeah.
And again, this would be one of those things that in the very recent past, we talked about the idea of accumulating financial penalties versus, stacking, because we don't want to appear to be out for money. We're out for correcting behavior, right? But again, this is one of those circumstances where we'll apply the matrix, we'll apply our practice, and then it's up to this board as to what it would like to recommend. And nothing that you're talking about at this point is outside of the scope for certain.
I could second the chairman's motion.
Any discussion? Then we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And just put me down for the aye, excuse me.